I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. How could the disciples recognize Moses and Elijah at the Transfiguration? Do Moses and Elijah already have their resurrection bodies? Two good questions. Let me answer them in reverse. I do not believe biblically that Moses and Elijah, as of this moment, nor in Matthew 17, have the resurrection bodies. Why would that be? Because in Revelation chapter 11, it says there are these two witnesses that speak the truth of God's word in the midst of a time period that Jesus called the Great Tribulation. One of them, it says, is able to stop the rain for 3.5 years, and the other one turns water into blood. That is Elijah and Moses. Now, that being said, their bodies in Revelation chapter 11, they have their heads removed. They're in the streets for 3.5 days. Their heads pop on their bodies and they ascend up into heaven. That's just the way the Bible reads it. So again, they're not in the resurrection bodies if their bodies can, quote, lose their life at some point in the future. Now, back to Matthew 17, you got Peter, James, and John, Mount of Transfiguration. They show up and they recognize who Moses and Elijah are without asking their identification, without having any kind of pictorial or drawing or sketch of what they might have or could have looked like. What's interesting about the story of the Transfiguration is that Jesus is the one that is glorified in that picture. Jesus' raiment is whiter than snow, his brightness. Peter, James, and John talk about building, the tents for them to dwell and not go back down to the bottom. I think the thing that's important is just like that nobody died in the presence of Jesus. I think when you see the glorification of Jesus, it is at that moment, like what we're going to find in all of eternity. I think you have a biblical concept that we will know everybody as fellow brothers and sisters in the Lord without having to have a name tag or a formal introduction. And much like nobody died in Jesus' present in his earthly ministry, in his glorified state, it seems as if everybody just knew who everybody else was. It's going to make eternity a whole lot easier if we don't have to remember all those names. Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net, and maybe your question will be tomorrow's.
Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.